Hello everyone and welcome back to ROBOTBOY, and today we are covering Grand Theft Auto 6, the upcoming game by Rockstar, the biggest game in the world. You've probably heard of it. I'm very excited about this game. I've been meaning to cover it on this channel for a while and I kept thinking now's not the right time, but you know what? There's no better time than now, especially with Trailer 3 hopefully right around the corner. We're almost at the original official release date of May 26. We're about 7 months out from the release in November, and pre-orders should be happening at some point. Like, the marketing is going to start happening soon in the summer, so I thought I'd jump in. Let's start covering the game now. I'm very excited to get into it with you guys. And I thought we'd start with our first video taking a look at the mapping project. Now, a bit background on my GTA history, I guess, and my excitement for this game. Well, GTA 5 is my most played game of all time, followed by Red Dead Redemption 2. So I'm a big Rockstar fan, and I've been following the development, all of the leaks, all of the trailers, all of the screenshots, all of the in-depth stuff for GTA 6 by the second as much as possible. So I'm very clued up on a lot of what's going on here, and I thought I would try and give my opinion and dive a bit into GTA 6. So if you're interested in GTA 6, excited about upcoming Trailer 3, pre-orders, all that good stuff, and want to see more content on the game, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'd love to build a community with you guys here. Now, with that said, let's get into today's video, where we're going to be looking at the latest update to the mapping project, which has just had an update on it within the last week or so. Not a massive change, nothing too much has been done, but you know, we're looking at it for the first time, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to look at everything. I mean, this website is incredible. I've been following it since the beginning, and even just as a website, I just want to give flowers to Yanis, the creator of it, because it's a great website. Not only do you have the map and all of the interactivity with all of the individual icons, pins, screenshots, you can see everything, but you can adjust, customize so much about how you experience your interaction with it. We can change the color scheme, we can change the background, we can change dark to light mode, we can change the markers, we can even have a look at other Rockstar game maps in comparison to this, which we will do towards the end. But what I thought we'd do is go in with a clean slate. This is either you're like me and you've already had a look at this in every possible detail and you just want to feed that hunger for GTA and you want to sit with me today, and we're going to look through it all again, because why not? Or you're here for the first time and this is your first time having a proper look at the mapping project. Either way, we're going to go through starting at the south and end up at the north side of the map and just have a look at well, not every single piece of info, but we're going to go through each area and look at what's going on, and then we're going to do some map comparisons at the end for some scale, because why not? It's the only thing we've got right now. I'm saying that, and watch how Trailer 3 drops before I even drop this video, but let's hope not. And but if that does happen, we will be covering that too. Anyway, let's get going, shall we? So one of the main changes recently on this map project, we can go back in the versions here. So if we actually have a look at the very first version of this map, you can see I mean, generally a lot of the layout is pretty accurate to the current version of the map, and I can't see it looking too dissimilar, especially this, well, the Vice City region, probably up here around Port Gellhorn, the Grass Rivers, the airport, and the Keys. Probably gonna be not too far off this. As I say, they haven't changed too much. Obviously, up here with this panhandle, has been a big point of contention. I know people are quite upset by the prospect that actually, if we scroll through and see how the map has changed over the last couple of years, that we are now assuming that there is no panhandle at the top here, and these keys at the bottom have sort of looped round into more of a horseshoe shape, as opposed to being sort of extended out and further away. Again, the exact intricacies of this is all subject to change. None of this is 100% confirmed. This is all based on leaks and images from the screenshots and the trailers, so it's all as accurate as can be. But that's not to say that you know, there might be some of it is kind of guesstimation, and some of it might have even changed between when we got screenshots and leaks from last time. It's been a year since we've heard or seen anything, so stuff might have changed. But very exciting, a very, very cool project, and the amount of detail that's gone into it is just incredible. So if we start off down here, and let's get rid of this sidebar for now. In fact, we are on the latest version. So something that's changed in the last few months is this sundown island here, or the very, very far end of the Key West. This was originally speculated to be dead west of the Airwood Key, which is supposedly a naval base. There's a screenshot. That screenshot you might remember of this broken down bridge. Oh no, actually, sorry, it was from trailer 1. This imagery of this broken down bridge. So apparently right below that camera behind is apparently a naval air base, which with GTA 5's map, again, we'll do some comparisons later, but I think the idea of having a naval base down here with access by water and by land is going to be very exciting and makes for, well, I assume a very interesting single player mission, but also with the online as well. Imagine the possibilities of what can be done with this as a location. I think that's super, super cool. And I think one thing I'll talk about generally whilst looking at this map is the use of water, which is something that, again, compared to GTA 5, a map that is mostly land. In fact, you know what? Let's bring up the map. Let's do a little, it would help to have this up. So I'll talk about the size and stuff later, but if we just look at this, GTA 5 is very much just a single blob of an island. You do have the lake up here in Sandy Shores and a couple of rivers leading off of it. But ultimately, I mean, these rivers, these are just kind of like white rapids almost. You can't really boat your way through them very successfully. And taking a boat around the map to go anywhere is the most inefficient way of getting around. You're always better off, obviously, flying first, driving second, and the last thing you'd want to do is get a boat. So already, as a difference, if we take the map off, even just looking at this southern part of the map, just pay attention to the waterways. Think about the routes. Think about how that's going to change gameplay from single player and multiplayer perspective. As I say, you've got this naval base down here. The naval base in GTA 5, if we go and have a look at that again, obviously that is up. Naval base is around here, that's right. The only way you can, there is ways onto the shore from here, but the actual base itself is still inland. So you're mainly getting in there from land or by jumping in. If we take this map off, and again we look at here, you have your road accessible here. You have this very cool stunt jump, which I'm sure people will be using. So you've got access on land, but you've only got one way in and out, which is going to make getting in with a truck or trying to steal a tank or something really, really fun, because you're going to have to use this one route. You're not going to be able to just drive out in any direction, drive in from any direction. You are kind of in this chokehold, inevitably ending up in a chase along this highway for escaping with 5 or maybe 6 stars if they're bringing that back. Waterways coming in by air. And from here, I mean, there are so many ways you can go, and this applies for all of the keys. Again, imagine this. From any of these keys, you can go via boat. The quickest way to get from any of these locations down here up to the Grass Rivers to the mainland is probably by boat. You could shoot along here in a car, but you'd have to go along east, northeast, north, and then west again, pulling in. From here, you could take a boat. You could go straight north across this open expanse through the Grass Rivers into Watson Bay. Not only that, from Watson Bay up through here, through Waterways, cut through. There are so many different ways, and we'll get up here in a second, but I just want to affirm that point, because that is, for me, one of the more exciting parts about this map. That yes, even though it is kind of a blob without the panhandle, probably, which has upset people, it's a way more already interactable map than GTA 5 in terms of how you can approach using it with different vehicles. It isn't just a slab of land. But anyway, I mean, that's just talking about this one island. There's so much to talk about. let's move along. So, well, we're not sure exactly what this Sundown Key West is yet. Is it probably maybe more of a naval base? We've got these very, 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 very blurry, tiny bits of screenshot here that have been able to assume that there will be something there, but it doesn't seem to be too much info on what that is. So yeah, interesting that there is a further island that way as well, probably out of bounds here, and I'm assuming some major heist or mission will later in the game involve, well, single player involved taking place here, but I can't imagine what the online is going to be like. So if we come a bit further east from our first island, we end up at the Bahia Honda Key, which is seemingly a pretty desolate island. It's, if you see it from this screenshot here, it seems to be mostly just nature, a bit of a nature reserve. I don't think there's anyone really living here. There might be the odd shack or house or two, but mainly just an island for the highway to go through. However, to the north of that, we do have our blimp, which was visible in one of the trailers. I think trailer 1, you could see it quite clearly, and you can see it in the background of 1 or maybe 2 of the screenshots. I think 2. Potentially I think the first shot of trailer 2 as well, which is over here. I think you can see the blimp again. Interesting to see how that will play into gameplay. Now, right down here, there is a tiny island. It'd be interesting to see how that comes into play. And then this is another shot from the trailer. You can see the highway with another unfinished highway running alongside it. You can see it there. So couple of broken highways or unfinished highways running along, so multiple opportunities for some fun gameplay. Imagine the being chased along here, and you have to decide, do we go down here or do we swing a right here? You're going over the jumps. Like, again, just really fun opportunities. Running up along here into the main key, which is Key Lento brackets Key Largo, so maybe unsure on the name, but don't be fooled by how small this looks relative to the city. If we actually bring up the screenshot, which again, just credit to the website here, and how impressive the work has gone in. I mean, we can access all of the screenshots here. Let me try and find, this is the screenshot in question. Pay attention to just how big this is, right? Let's look, pay attention to how small the cars are, and I don't even think you can see any people here, but again, sense of scale, it's massive. There is, you could probably spend, I imagine my theory is the game opens in the Keys, you're Jason living in his house, and a lot of the tutorialization, a lot of the missions start you off getting to grips with the basics, do have you on this key before you're let loose into Vice City and the rest of Leonida, which initially I thought it's a small place to do that, but actually just have a look at it. It's huge. There's so much going on here. Plus you've got all these small islands happening to the south as well. You've got the plane, you've got all these different boats, different water vehicles. And this looks like it might be on the map, but yeah, some sort of tower here. So yeah, a whole lot happening on this key already. And another thing, the question I have, which I'm sure a lot of us have, something I'm theorizing about, is how properties will work in this game. Obviously in GTA 5 Online, you had very fixed houses, and I'm sure probably in GTA 6 Story, that will be similar. You'll probably have fixed houses initially to start anyway. You might be able to buy more property as the game goes on. That would be cool. But more so online, how many of these houses will be purchasable? I'm hoping it's a lot, and I'm hoping that there is more of a free flow to it than the current state of GTA 5 Online, where you're just instancing inside of a house, or well, apartments for a long time, then houses. I know we have the mansions now. I'm hoping that is an indicator of the technology you're looking to bring through, where you can access more than just the default houses they've set. Maybe hopefully a lot of options for us, and maybe being able to just walk in and out of them. Will the technology allow that? We'll see, but it would be really cool to have a lot of these individual custom houses that they built all along this quay accessible. I mean, we'll get into that more as we go up into the city, but yeah, a good place to start. I mean, a lot happening already down here. I think this house here is where Jason's house is assumed to be, if I get that right. Yeah, so Jason's house assumed to be on this northern part of the quay, on the west border, facing towards the grass rivers. So yeah, I imagine maybe we're starting off around here and missions are taking place. Coming down here, we see at the beginning of trailer 2, he's going and collecting some debt money for Brian. I think Brian's workshop is around here as well. So I imagine, yeah, we'll be starting off on this quay, getting to the grips with the basics before we head up probably to Hamlet. I guess you're getting my theory of how the story's going to run as well, but I imagine we head up into Hamlet because that is where prison is, and we get Lucia back, potentially some shenanigans going on around Hamlet, and potentially our home still being Jason's house down here. I'd like to point out again, as we go further north, again, pay attention to the route options here compared to GTA 5. Let's bring the map up again. GTA 5, a big problem everyone has is obviously the circular aspect of the map. If you want to go anywhere in GTA 5 from Los Santos, you're going east along this highway or along this one that connect, and you're going all the way around, or you're going west along this Pacific Coast Highway road along the edge. What's happening in the middle? Not much. I mean, these hilly roads, you're not really navigating them as much. You have two main options, really. It's this highway or this highway. And then, as we all know, as you get further north, you really kind of run out of stuff to do. And those are your two key routes, and that's pretty much it. If we already have a look just down here at this section here, again, not even factoring in all of the different routes for the boats, because the grass rivers are, I mean, clearly they're going to have routes within them. I'm not sure how accurate these landmass bits are relative to the waterways. This might be speculation. They might be based on data. So I wouldn't read too much into how accurate these water routes are, and, you know, oh, there's dead ends here and whatever. That might, again, it might just be guesses. But even just having water options to navigate multiple ways through, and land here as well, if you've got the right vehicle, the right off-road vehicle, to get to Watson Bay with multiple roads, multiple routes. We've got two highways that can take you up to Vice City. You've got this road that leads northeast that takes you that way, or you've got this major highway that takes you more of a dead north through Hamlet up to Vice City. And we'll get talking about the routes in Vice City in a bit, but again, just acknowledging that various routes to get from one point into the main bit of the map before we even start getting into the main cities, plus all the possible points at which you could jump off on a boat or a jet ski or even a plane or a helicopter and head up through here. Just, yeah, that is super exciting to me. So if we head up, let's have a look here. Our next main POI, point of interest, Hamlet, which I think, and you might need to correct me if I'm wrong, there is a leak where Lucia is on the back of a pickup truck. There are police chasing her down the road. I think that is along this strip here. It might be mentioned on one of these pins, but I'm not going to go through every single one to find it. Yeah, not 100% sure on that, but I would feel like that's where that is. So it'd be cool to have, yeah, a small starting town on the mainland. I think we see that in trailer 1 as well, where they're drifting out of the car park towards the end, potentially the first convenience store that they rob. I mean, that could be in the Keys, but I think it's up in Hamlet. and the prison here as well. So I think potentially as Lucia gets introduced into the story, we'll probably be hanging around here a little bit more. Some more missions happening here. And let's kind of go by height on the map. So let's stay along this level and head over to Watson Bay, which is a separate area on its own, but super detailed. Again, there's a screenshot if we can find it. Where? Let's go along here. Jason Duval. We got Ambrosia, the United Keys, Cross Rivers, of course. So this is Watson Bay. As you can tell from the map, it doesn't look like a lot, but when you actually pay attention to how much is going on here, it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, you can see the air traffic control tower there. You can see Vice City off in the distance, but how many cars are on screen, the NPCs, the roads are full. There's going to be so much detail going on. The other thing I love is that every house is totally different. I mean, I think GTA 5 did a good job of that anyway. If you actually look at all the different mansions and houses in the Vinewood Hills GTA 5, all of them are so different and you barely have a reason to go and see any of them, yet they're all different. So I imagine that's going to be taken to the next level with GTA 6. But yeah, Watson Bay, seemingly small on the map relative to everything else, but actually when you look at it in comparison, there's a lot of detail going on here. And this is just this little area here. Behind it, there seems to be a small island with a hut on it, maybe some freestanding huts. So it'd be interesting to see what that is. And again, another route via boat, via river, via water that can take you from Watson Bay. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could go from this key up through here, do something in Watson Bay, jump back on the boat, head through this river, down this canal probably, along, out and up into Vice City. Just really cool. I love the fact that that's going to be a whole way of navigating the game, and the multiplayer opportunities that opens up too. You know, you're not just going to be stuck in the same police chases, driving around the freeways in circles all the time. So that is very, very exciting to me. All right, let's head a bit further north to our main attraction, the reason why we're all here, Vice City itself. Now let's have a little bit of a comparison quickly. If we bring up GTA 4's map, which is the entirety of GTA 4, if you haven't played it or don't know, is just the city of, well, just Liberty City. There is no extra sort of rural areas, it's just the city. And if we overlay that onto the estimations of Vice City here, I mean, you've still got almost a whole extra island's worth of city from the Liberty City map to cover Vice City. And that's assuming that none of this is filled in with buildings, roads as well. It's just kind of left blank for the time being. So that in itself is exciting. If we compare that to GTA 5, we compare that to Los Santos, and we bring the opacity down just a little bit so you can see. I mean, again, I know water is a part of it, and I'm aware that not all of it is buildings. But again, if we look at the opportunities that creates from a gameplay perspective, the different routes that you'd need to take to get around. Again, GTA 5, Los Santos, great, but it's just one almost square block city in a very grid-like pattern. I mean, we all know, you've done it. You're basically just picking a line, going across it, going east and west, or kind of north and south. And that's kind of the way around. You do have some areas that are more intricate, especially by this sort of shipyard areas, and as you get around where sort of like Grove Street is, and the Vinewood Hills become a bit more tangly, but generally it's a pretty straightforward grid. We compare that to here. Sorry, I wish there was like an in-between zoom. That's why I keep going in and out. I kind of want like something that's not as zoomed in as this, but not as far out as that. But hey, we move. Let's just pay attention here. I mean, I'm trying not to pay attention too much because I do want to discover a lot of the individual places and locations myself when I'm playing. I don't want to know that where every single shop, everything's going to be. It's more of just generally looking around, seeing what's going on. But yeah, as I say, you've got waterways here. Actually, I didn't even clock here. You've got this one that comes out, but there's seems to be some sort of tunnel or waterway that goes up and then along and through, and you can come out through the Vice River here. So, if you wanted to go from this Catalan Key here, there are multiple ways you can do that. You can go west across this bridge, you can go east across this bridge, although this has got the red outline on it, which I think means you are not permitted to go there. This is probably maybe an official government key or something, so maybe legally you wouldn't be allowed to do that, but I'm just saying as a opportunity to go east round through the port of Miami across this island. There seems to be a tunnel underneath here as well that leads you through, which is very cool. Another way off there, all the different waterways that get you across, even coming up here as well. If you're on the Vice Beach Island, the Miami Beach equivalent, and you want to go anywhere, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 road routes off of it, excluding getting on a boat and going north or south along the coast, or getting in a boat or a jet ski and running any of these ways through Vice City itself to end up in the downtown sector, or going through these rivers, or heading down here towards the Keys. It's just crazy. Like, that to me is super exciting. It's something that I keep thinking about, and that is kind of understated a little bit. I feel like people aren't really talking about that enough. Just the opportunities that this map will provide compared to the other maps. I mean, to be fair, this was something I really enjoyed about GTA 4's map, that it was an island. Let me bring this so it's not being overlapped by so much stuff. Where's it good? If we bring it over here. Whoop. This is something I loved about GTA 4's map. Me and my friends used to do this we used to play GTA 4 all the time back in the day, and this is something I loved about GTA 4, was having multiple options to get around. It just meant that you could do different things, you could set different challenges. One thing we loved to do was we'd race from, say, the airport we'd pick a place over on the far west side, and we would sometimes assign ourselves different routes so we could see which way was quicker. So you'd start here, and you could either go along the north side, up along and over and down. You could go straight through the middle, having to fight more traffic, up and over. You could go south along up through the tunnel and through. You could jump on a boat and you could come all the way around and through. There are just so many options, and that's something that I think GTA 5 missed. Again, it's not the fault of it's that's how California is. They had to build the map based around that, so I can't really blame them. But thinking back to that is something, and actually even to San Andreas's credit too, it's a very similar thing. You've got a very similar concept here of different areas, but with so many different routes to and from them. That's what makes this game's map, I think, superior to GTA 5. It's what I think makes most of the other Rockstar games superior to GTA 5. And it seems like GTA 6's map will be in the same vein as those. So yeah, without going into too much detail, I'm not going to go into individually looking at every single street, every single building, because we'd be here forever. I'm just looking more at the map as a whole and what that's going to mean for us. Because if you even look at this river here, this takes you up. It seems to split here. Probably not as much info for it, but it looks like there's a potential that you could go from Vice City on boat either north and take a west route through here to Lake Leonida, or through here, along, up, and up this river or canal up to Lake Leonida 2. So, and you know what's actually quite cool about this? We can even draw. So so you can go this way, you could go this way, you could go out, up, along, through. Just trying to outline all of the boat routes here. I mean, if you're in Watson Bay, you can come along and up and join there. You could go up, along, through, and connect here. If you're in the Keys, you can come up through the grass rivers. You can come up through the Keys along that bit there. You could come out here, go all the way along the coast and connect. And obviously here you've got that, and then we're not even getting up here yet, or even we haven't even touched on really the west side of the whole island. But yeah, really, really cool. Just going to delete all of those. But that just gives you a good idea on the route potentials that aren't even road based. So very exciting. Okay, back to, give me my cursor back. Here we go. Now, big thing obviously stands out to you. The airport. The airport seems to be huge. Not 100% verified. We don't know how big this is going to be in reality when the game launches. This is all speculation. We've not really seen a good shot of the airport in any of the promo material. There is a bit of leaked gameplay of someone in the, I don't know the name of the vehicle. You know, it's one of those like hover boats with the big fan on the back, and they're on the runway in the airport. If you've seen the clip, you know what I'm talking about. That's probably in our best view of the airport. So, and I mean, it looks huge. Again, if we compare to GTA 5's airport, I mean, it's probably twice the size, I'd say. The runways seem bigger. Eddie Austin is going to have a great time with this. Yeah, the runway seems bigger. And then the actual airport itself seems more dense. It seems like there's a lot going on, different terminals. I'm very excited to see how that all works. So yeah, really, really cool. And then you've got different facilities. I think this is probably a train station we're looking at here, maybe. The metro, something like that. So that would be cool. And then, yeah, again, without going into too much detail, overall, just really, really exciting. And just to compare it to some of the other Rockstar Games maps as well. I mean, let's just bring Red Dead 2 on. Why not? Actually, no, not yet. We're not there yet. Let's have a look now. Obviously, I've seen some people on Reddit freaking out. I mean, that's just a normal day on Reddit, but they see this green space and they go, oh my god, there is nothing going on. Boring map. Yes, the city seems detailed, the grass rivers, the keys, cool. But what? Then there's just fields of nothing, and then there's nothing going on. The reason why there is nothing here, you have to remember this, is because this is a mapping project based on leaks, screenshots, and trailers. Very relatively limited information. It's actually a miracle that we have this much data gathered in the first place to be able to draw this much of a good impression of the map. Obviously, there are going to be gaps. The final map, I mean, I'd be very surprised if this was not the case, but I think we will see more going on here. It's not just going to be empty, dead freeway with nothing going on. It's just that we don't know. So, you know, just consider that when looking at the map and any of these blank areas. Yeah, it's not that there's not going to be anything there. It's just that there's not enough information to fully understand what could be there. Now, if we move up, where do we want to go from here? You know what, Port Gellhorn is probably is quite a big location. So let's go from Vice City out a little bit, and even here you can see some like unfinished roads, maybe a bit of hint, but we don't really know where that's going. I think these are the train lines. I might be wrong. These yellow lines might be, yeah, that's got to be. I think the yellow is the metro. So here you've got the airport shuttle. I think these white lines are train tracks as well. These yellow lines are the metro, and then you've got one that takes you up out to here. So the metro is going to be cool. We go up here north, we get to the Waning Sands, which from these screenshots, let me see if I can just find. Okay, so this is from trailer 1, the bit at the end where they're in the car escaping the police. So that must be, yeah, there we go, the shopping mall here on the sides. This might be more of a rundown derelict area, which would be interesting to have that as well. And you come along towards, this is Ambrosia. So in Ambrosia, we've got some cool POIs as well. We have a potential motorsport racetrack, which is very cool. Potentially a football stadium. Again, more waterways here. This seems like a train yard, which, well, accessible by train, and one of the Allied Crystal Warehouse, which seems to be a lot of the production going on. I think there's a screenshot here of the fields on fire. That's really cool. So more farmland, more warehouse, more production, more industrial going on here. Very cool. I mean, not too much to say about it, except that there's also potentially an airstrip over here. So cool that there is an airstrip here, as well as the main airport, as well as the air base down here. Very, very cool. More fields, and again, not really 100% sure on what is going on around here, but it seems like there's some elevation. These dotted lines with the different shading of green will indicate that the height map is changing, so it's probably getting a little bit more hilly here. I'm aware that Florida in reality is a very, very flat piece of land. Obviously they're going to take some liberties here, especially as you get up to the Mount Gallagher National Park, but it seems they're taking a little bit of liberty around here as well, just to increase a little bit of variation in the terrain, because, you know, reality is one thing, but you do want to have a little bit of gameplay variety. I think if the whole map was just super flat, that would become quite boring. I think Mount Gallagher is clearly going to be their main solution for that, but it's nice that they're seemingly doing that a little bit in the middle of the map too. Okay, again, more routes, more options, more freeways. I think a lot of these are speculation, but just the idea in itself that there are multiple ways still to go to where you need to go. If we arrive at Port Gellhorn, well, actually not even that, let's say with Ambrosia, it's got a little pen out again. If you're in Ambrosia and you want to go anywhere, you can go south. They'll take you to the airport, which allows you multiple ways into different areas of Vice City. You could come south and then east and into Vice City that way. You could head straight east out of Ambrosia and south and you're in Vice City, or go all the way around and you're in Vice Beach. You could head west out of Ambrosia all the way to Port Gellhorn and all the way down, or you could cut it off here. You could cut back in. You could go along. Just look at all of the different driving potentials, different possibilities that aren't just the big super loop. And I think by just having more cities and towns, built up areas spread throughout the map, I think that really giving you a purpose to go from A to B, that in itself is more interesting than GTA 5's map, where everything was always happening in Los Santos at the south, and there was no, you know, buying a property anywhere Sandy Shores or further north was kind of pointless, because you'd just always be heading back down to Los Santos. But it seems like there's going to be enough going on in these other places that maybe it is worth having a property in Port Gellhorn, as well as Vice City, as well as the Keys. You know, 3 key, excuse the pun, locations. Let me bring a, there we go. 3 key locations, almost triangular, giving you reason to bounce between them. Very cool. And as we head west to our final major area on the map that we have at the moment, in terms of a real location, we'll talk about Mount Gallagher in a minute. But Port Gellhorn, again, without going into too much detail, this is the second largest location, it seems. Well, I don't actually. Yeah, I guess it's bigger than the Leonardo key. Well, our main key here, the key Lento. But as a location, pretty solid in size, probably pretty similar. And then obviously you have this. Well, it's a raceway around here, but seemingly its own airport, which is very cool. Unless it's disused and has been turned into a racetrack, the whole thing. It might be. It might be that I think so. Potentially, it is just an airstrip that has been turned into a racetrack, which is very cool because that doesn't mean you can't land a plane on it legally, I guess, when you're playing. So that would be cool. Big train yard seems to be going on around here. Lots of industrialism going on. Lots of warehouses, and again, more water routes. To be able to come all the way up west around and into Port Galhorn that way. You've got this river that seems to be coming along through to Lake Leonida, which again then has access to everywhere. So you can really actually go from every major town and city, even Ambrosia, which is in the middle of the map, the middle of the landmass. You can get there by water, which is just not really something that's worth doing in GTA 5. So yeah, very, very cool. And I think as the map stretches up north here, this is where it really starts to get quite fuzzy. There's not too much information going on. We've got a bit more information. If I just scroll back on the versions, so yeah, there are some key points, like there's the Mount Caliga Table Rock, there's Mount Waffles, Mountain, and Ambrosia Hill. And it seems to be more refined in the latest versions of the map. There seems to be maybe an airstrip here as well. But yeah, as you can see, this whole northern bit from the very beginning, where it was assumed to be a panhandle, that was mainly just because that's how Florida looks. That wasn't based on any data. Eventually has been assumed that it's just going to be rounded off at the top, which I'm not fussed about, because I mean, even if this just squared off here, the map in itself is already super interesting. That the fact that we're even getting a national park in of itself. Let's bring up some of the screenshots here. I might pop Mount Caliga. I mean, just look at this. The density of the vegetation. And actually, I think a lot of these screenshots, there's a lot of fog and haze in the distance, but the sense of scale, I mean, there's quite a lot of verticality going off into the distance there before you even get to any. So I think this national park is going to be bigger than you would expect. Same here. You've got a helicopter flying through. There's a lot of mountainous terrain going on here. You've got a bridge, a highway on a bridge here. And look how tall that is compared to this mountain here. So there will be a mountain in this game, confirmed. Definitely some elevation, some good height. And this is, again, the most speculative area. And the map's already looking good. So, who knows what is going to be along this northern border. I think it's safe to say that it probably won't be connected to another landmass. I think it will be an island. The GTA games have always been islands, so I can't see them changing that suddenly now. I know Red Dead 2 is connected to other landmass, but it's slightly different because you obviously don't have aerial vehicles, cars and just other vehicles like that can easily get you over the mountains. You're limited by your horse or your character and what they can climb, so it's a bit easier to keep you funneled in. So I think it will be an island, and then there's obviously the potential to, speculation of having the Bahamas, maybe Cuba as additional maps, and in the future, maybe bringing back Liberty City up north. That would be cool. The dream sort of GTA Online universe in the next decade or two is that they add these old maps back. You have Liberty City, added as an island that you can go up to up there. You have San Andreas brought back as an island to the west over here. I mean, how cool would that be? But you know, that's speculation, and we're probably not looking at that until at least 10 years. So let's just get to GTA 6 first. But yeah, one last comparison really, I guess, to Red Dead Redemption 2 as a map, just for scale. Now Red Dead Redemption 2's map to me feels huge, and I know it does for a lot of people. It's actually smaller than GTA 5's map, but obviously you're on foot, so going anywhere takes far longer than it would in a GTA game, and therefore the time it takes to get around just naturally feels a bit longer. So you know, I think it's kind of not a great comparison, although if you do just think about the pure landmass of Red Dead 2 in your head, look at where that fits on the GTA 6 map. I mean, even if you added an extra 2/3 of the map of Red Dead 2's map here to square that off, you've still got 2.5-3 times the size of Red Dead 2's map in GTA 6. So for those worrying that GTA 6 is going to be small, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Yeah, there we go. A little recap of the mapping project, my thoughts on the map. It's just fun to talk about it. It's all we've got at the moment, and we are, well, close to the original delayed release date of May 26th. We're only about a month and a bit away. From there, we're 6 months out until the game finally releases, and we'll know what the map looks like, and it'll be interesting to see how accurate a lot of this is. I mean, it will inevitably be slightly different, but I'm pretty confident that the majority of it is there. It will be cool to see a comparison to the final map and everything else it brings with it. That's it from me. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed just having a little look at the map, speculating, having a bit of fun, just engaging with the very little GTA 6 content we have, I'm just excited by it. I love talking about this stuff. I love theorizing. I love fantasizing, I guess, about what the game will be like and what it will bring. If you want more of that, give the video a like, subscribe, your news channel. Thanks so much for supporting. Let me know if you enjoyed the video, and thanks again. Really appreciate it. All right, take care, everyone. I'll see you in the next video.